So here's the deep knowledge. Now, celluloid, remember I told you about the laws of light? And I told you that there are laws that you see on the periodic table, that you see in the actual physics, if you may, of life. And these laws, what they govern is they govern what really is happening on the chemical level in the background. So any kind of, let's say, magic is not magic at all. What it is just being extremely aware of exactly how the construct is put together. And I told you, 10 years ago that the Queen of England and the people that she represents had this agenda to find out completely how the world was created. And they enlisted some of the most enigmatic people of that time in order to be able to accomplish discovering that. And they found it. And not only did they find that information, they also found out how to communicate, which a lot of people don't know how to do. Through, of course, languages such as the Enochian language, which are cone languages. They suck. And in these languages, they began to communicate with the if world. And I'll get into that world with you in just a moment. But if you understand Enochian, what you understand that's happening here is that there is a cone that is being utilized. Let me see if they got somebody that is aware. One of our pictures can completely come up. There we are. Okay, so this is a cone language. Blow it up a little bit. And that same cone is actually the cone that is in this demon's hand, because these are bird demons, okay? Like, this is why you're shown, even in the paintings of antiquity, that there is a dark bird demon running around. This is a very, very old depiction. Like, this is one of the oldest depiction of what is really happening in the square. But this doesn't seem that old, because it's like, oh, where did that come from? And it's because that's that old hated bird. It's talked about in the scripture all the time. They even show it to you in movies, and they get it to you that, hey, there's something going on with another group of beings that they love to call watchers. There's some that are aligned and some are disaligned, some agreeable, some disagreeable. 200 of them came. I guess they're not going to give me a raw picture. Give me just a moment. 200 of them came and agreed to do the deed to actually mix in with the human race as it was then, the composite simian. And that watch, which we've been able to not only remanufacture but enhance, known as the cosmic clock, that watch is responsible for this being's ability to phase in and out of time, just like that disco ball. On They Live, remember that the whole form of being able to move around is the watch from these beings that they're referring to here. Okay? The Rolex watch, right? So this is symbolic to the watchers, those who move through time, those who keep causing things like what you call Mandela effects, okay? Which is moving you through time through these cone languages, which are also embedded within English and embedded within a lot of the stuff that they're embedding the reality with. And, it's a hard and sober drink that empowers you and empowers those who are willing to listen and not just dumb out into this, oh, everything is fine, as long as this is how you see it. If you're a powerful being, you already know that something's actually up and we're about to break some spells. These are the watchers painting on the roof of Baalbek. Nobody really got that shot. I mean, look up at the roof and see, what's been coming forth from the center of the hexagram, which is often shown. So this language, as I said, was bought by a gentleman that we know that's named John Dee, also known as 007 or Tubal Cain. Let's see if we can get that. It's enough out there now. We know that, okay? So we know that John Dee, who was working with the Queen, he was the first spy, if you may, into the spiritual world. They spied on the spiritual world because there's an if world, and the matriarchs were holding space in that world, which we'll get to in just a minute, meaning that there was a lot of activity going on in the if world, and the balance of bringing souls here into the physical experiences were put into the hand of the matriarch. And it's really, really heavy duty because there's a lot of different kind of spirits out there. And also when spirits come in that are not supposed to be here, you have to figure out how to get rid of them. And so you have to end up enlisting other spirits to get rid of certain spirits. And so that's what the ancient mothers were handling in the darkness. These were the deeper covens, and this is what was usurped, if you may, by the negative, distorted masculine. If you can't even give them that name, you can't even give them these names. That's the reality. Like anything you associate with being great, don't even utter their name in conjunction with it. So let's keep going. So what I'm getting at here is that this knowledge, which I call the language of light, is not only just this language of communication with the if world, it's also the laws of the periodic table. Because in the Priory of Sion, all of the members of the Priory of Sion were pretty much the people responsible for bringing this knowledge of going into Earth and taking the knowledge that Earth is exhibiting by cutting her open. Actually doing surgery on people and going all into the jungle and killing animals and pushing viruses, psychologically manipulating. All of this stuff was coming out of the Priory, okay? Because they were charged with trying to figure out how this whole thing was created. And when they discovered it, they locked the knowledge away. That is their original secrets of these societies. So what we have in their set of knowledge is something very powerful, something that actually allows the breaking of a matrix.